Welcome to Malcom Reed's How to Barbecue Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcom and Rochelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to Barbecue Right Podcast. I'm your host, Malcom Reed. I'm joined by my lovely, talented wife, Miss Southern Shell, right across from me. We got Tyler over here on the board, and we're back from a long trip. Seemed like it was long anyway.
Yeah, it seems like it was forever ago.
We missed last week, so if everybody was looking for that podcast, there wasn't one.
Real quick, this Friday, which will be today when this podcast come out, or day ahead, but you will be at Oktoberfest in Cleveland, Mississippi. I'm doing the lighting of the grill, which is apparently a big deal that I didn't realize how big a deal it was, but the lighting of the grill, and then you're going to do 2 rib demos. Yeah,
I got asked to do this because it's the wrap up of the Delta Barbecue Battle that the MBN, Memphis BBQ Network, which is a sanctioning body for barbecue here in our area. And they had this 4 contest or 5 contest?
It was around that
4 or 5 contests, and they were taking like the average preliminary score, your top 3 scores in those contests, and they're giving away a lot of money.
Yeah.
Isn't it like $10,000?
I think so. Like first,
it's something outrageous.
Yeah, and
I was
this
like,
is
man,
what you win on top of
the contest. Yeah, this is just for your best highest 3 scores preliminary round out of set 4 Delta contest.
Yeah.
But anyway, they asked me to do the lighting of the grill and to do some demos. So I'm not competing. I'm just going to have
fun. Mark is competing.
Yeah,
he's been tearing it up on the NBN circuit.
He's done really good. I think he's number 5, like in 5th place.
Okay.
And he's only cooked 3 of them, so he'll drop one of his scores. I think there's 5 total contests, and they take the best 3.
So he has the opportunity to be in the running for that prize money. Good for him.
I think that Marcio is the number 1 right now, and then
what's his team? Hog Addiction.
Yeah, Hog Addiction, and then Blue Collar. That's our buddy Dustin Rudd. He's 2nd place. Parrot Head, I believe, when I looked at the standings was not Parrot Head, Poker Porkers, and then 4th place was Piggy Smalls. Okay. Shout out to Austin Dykers, and then Mark and Jamie are 5th. So excited about it.
We know a lot of people in that.
Yeah, know a lot of people in the top 5. Or we know the top 5. You could have been in there, Shell, if we'd have been cooking all these contests. I don't know where you found time, but.
Oh, yeah. No, my contest days are over. You can keep doing them.
Your contest days are over?
You can go do them.
I wish I had the time to, really. There's nothing better than spending a weekend out at a contest, cooking with your buddies, and just hanging out.
Yeah, and you've got that nice trailer.
Yeah. It's ready to go. I'm sure they let me get in there. Cook on Saturday. I couldn't do that on Friday. But we're doing 2 rib demos. And my thinking on this is we kind of sat down and talked about it. I wanted to do just show them how to cook a Memphis-style rib in your backyard. And what is a Memphis-style rib? Well, to me, a Memphis-style rib is just a good old dry rib, hickory smoked, seasoned with just some good dry barbecue rub, whatever kind you like. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to show them one of mine on it, but it's just when you think of Memphis barbecue, what do you think of, Shell?
Dry rub.
What kind of ribs?
Oh, baby back.
Baby backs. That's a Memphis thing.
Yeah. I like dry ribs. They've always been my favorite. Competition ribs are like my least favorite ribs.
There'll be a little bit of competition element to it because I'm going to serve it with like 2 or 3 sauces, and that way you get to choose which one you like it with. That's kind of what they tell the judges in MBN. If a team turns in a sauce, they tell them to judge it with the sauce that you think accompanies the meat best. But when you're eating ribs, you want to taste the rib. That's the main thing to me, and I don't think anything gives you the authentic taste of good barbecue, or especially smoked ribs, is hickory wood and just a little bit of seasoning and some good pork. That's all you need. Any kind of smoker can do it.
Yeah. Sometimes I've seen you like put maybe a light apple juice or some water right at the end or something to give it some moisture so you can put more dry rub on it. And it almost makes it kind of like, cakey is the wrong word.
It just makes it stick.
It gives you a dusting of that extra kick of flavor. And if you use the right rub, it's really, really
A lot of times restaurants will use like a vinegar mop or spritz or something like that, something acidic or as simple as water. But just to give it a light little spray at the end, just to kind of dampen that surface of the rib. And that way when you come back and you do a final shake on it, a lot of times that final shake is done right on your plate.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't, they'll cook these ribs like for lunch service. They'll put them on early that morning, take them off and hold them a little bit. And sometimes they'll even throw them like on a char griller to heat them back up a little bit before they hit the plate. But you'll always see them mop them with something and then shake them right when they put them on your platter or whatever they're serving it on. They'll come back with that dust, like a Memphis-style dry rub. And that's what I like. You taste that. It gives it a little pop of flavor, but you still taste the meat and the smoke.
And usually you're serving it. Personally, for me, it's got a vinegar sauce on the side.
That's my favorite.
You can just kind of dip it in.
So which one, like if you had your choice to sit down with the sauce, so you want your ribs dry, what kind of sauce do you?
I like the idea of I got all three.
Do you?
But if I had to pick one, it'd be the vinegar. Your vinegar.
Yeah.
Your vinegar is not too vinegary and it's not too sweet. It's just like in that right little.
And it's got some pop.
And it's got a little pop, just a little heat.
But you know what else really good? Serve it warm.
Serve the sauce warm.
Yes. And there's the restaurant that does it right in Memphis is Central because they keep their sauce in these little. It's almost like your nacho machine.
Yeah, it's like heated carafes.
Yeah.
With a dispenser on top.
And you pump it into the little cup.
Yeah.
And then you got this warm sauce to dip it. Oh man. Why would you want to put something cold? Like we don't even really refrigerate sauce at my house. I know in the bottle, all of them say for best results keep it in the refrigerator. But yeah, I don't know why. Why do you need to keep it? It's better room temp or warm.
I guess it extends the shelf life. Maybe.
I don't know. I think maybe it keeps the flavors from changing too much. I don't know.
That's something we need to.
That's a Shell's learning corner there. You can look that up. Why? Because the acidity in the sauce is making it chef stable. It's got a high, the pH is right on it to where it can sit on it and stand on its own.
Yeah, I mean it's all shelf stable. It's like mayonnaise. It's like Blue Plate.
And I disagreed with you like that for a long time until you educated me.
I didn't educate you. You didn't believe a word came out of my mouth.
Was it the mayo? Was it the Blue Plate folks that told us it's perfectly okay to keep it out? That it's shelf stable?
It is shelf stable.
Yeah,
my argument was always that little piece of foil on top
is not stopping.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were. I think they overheard us talking on the podcast, and they emailed me and said, "No, for sure, it's shelf stable."
So have you, Tyler? Have you started leaving the mayonnaise in your pantry instead of in the refrigerator?
I haven't. No, I don't.
And I won't.
I won't either.
We're weird. We put like bread in the fridge. Like some people don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so. I don't really like.
I used to do that.
I don't like my loaf bread. I want my mayonnaise cold. Now I don't want to get it out of the pantry and put it right on a sandwich.
Yeah.
Something in me, it just. I'm not supposed to be eating warm mayo or room temp mayo. It's just, and so I like getting it out fresh out of the refrigerator.
What about ketchup and mustard?
I don't care about those. The only thing I've noticed is like when you keep ketchup or mustard in a pantry versus in the refrigerator, it's the water separates a little more. So you gotta, that first squeeze, if you don't shake it good, you're just gonna have that big juice pile. I hate that.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than getting some crispy French fries and you're gonna get some ketchup and squirt on the plate, and all of a sudden you got this puddle of ketchup juice.
I think
and then you and then you can't mix it up. It don't mix back right. It just ruins my plate.
I got so mad. I was making a sandwich for Michael for his lunch one day, and I got the mustard, shook it up, did the little thing where I thought I squirted out all the water and no water came out, and I was like, "Oh, we're good to go." Went to squirt it, and it was just a puddle. It's on bread at that point.
It just sogs right through it.
At least if you're on a plate, you could like scrape it off.
It just ruins the plate.
One thing about Memphis barbecue, like you were saying, is it's not just ribs that get that just last minute dash of seasoning over the top. It's kind of like everything. They do it for sides. Spaghetti. They do it I've even seen them do it for like potato salad, but
barbecue nachos. You always hit them with the dust. Pulled pork sandwich. I don't know if they do it so much with the pulled pork sandwich.
Yeah.
Because you're topping it with coleslaw a lot of times. But any like wings,
pretty much any plate you get
wings, you're getting them dusted.
So. Yeah, it's got it on there.
Do you know my theory on that?
Yeah. What
is? you save money as a restaurant by a lot of them probably don't even season it when they cook it. They just
That's
smoke it.
So true.
And then they season it right before they serve it. That way, when the customer's tasting it, they're tasting those seasonings right on it. So,
well, if you season it before you cook it,
yeah,
you're going to lose a lot of that.
Some of it, but I like to season my meat before it goes on the
Yeah.
pit. It's very rare that I put anything on there not seasoned. I always put a rub on or something, salt, at least salt and pepper. I want it to cook into it. To me, the cook process starts when you start seasoning it because it starts pulling moisture out. The salt pulls moisture out of the sugars and whatever you're using, and it's pulling flavors in. So you're getting a little bit of the penetration down in the meat instead of just on the surface.
And it's giving you that tacky.
Yeah, it gives you a little tackiness to it. Like that
you
bark
like.
creates that bark. You
We
can't
went-
tell me bark's is good. No rub or no seasoning
No.
versus just plain like
No.
trying to let a bark form on the outside of a pork shoulder.
I'm with you. It needs that seasoning.
Needs it.
Even if it becomes less potent over the cooking process, it still needs it at first. We went to one rib demo. I don't even remember who it was. I do, but I'm not going to say.
You're not throwing anybody under the bus. You're not throwing shade.
Yeah, but they had one Memphis and I with their ribs, and they gave their rib process, and it was probably about 12 different rubs, multiple things in their wrap. Like, it was a pretty intensive recipe. And then at the end, when you tasted them, they were the blandest ribs.
It's flat.
Just the flattest,
What are you
blandest
talking about?
ribs.
I have to ask you off the camera.
Yeah.
Refresh my memory. You can do too much to them.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big thing, especially a barbecue's meant to be simple. It's not meant to be super complex food.
I don't know if all
Just need to
this
balance
stuff,
out those flavors. But you think if you put 30 things on something, it's gonna
I don't know if they all bounce,
just washed it off.
washed it all.
Wouldn't it
together.
just fall off anyways? Like after a certain amount of layering, you're just
I mean,
gonna drop
I've
off.
always thought that too.
yeah. Can you pick out if you've got that many different things on
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Last weekend, we went to Minnesota.
We did.
Flew up there. We saw the Vikings play on Sunday.
That was our second year in a row to get to go
Yeah,
on
yeah.
that same weekend.
Got to see the
Columbus Day
Chiefs.
weekend. Yeah, I wasn't real happy. I mean, don't get me wrong. Going to Minnesota was fun. I had a blast.
The game was fun. We had awesome seats.
I'm gonna tell you, we did something we had never done. We flew in. We didn't get an Uber or rent a car. They had light. They called it light rail, so it wasn't subway. It was all above ground, but it was a train.
Yeah.
And you caught a train at the airport. It took us right downtown where we had a hotel. We passed the stadium, and then we got off that tram and walked the block to our hotel. And we never rented a car or anything. Everything we did was
With the light
the
rail.
light rail,
Yeah.
and it worked great. But I don't know, you had to pay. You had to get a light rail pass, right?
I bought some tickets online.
Explain this to me. How would they know if you bought those tickets or
Nobody
not?
checked.
Because we got on that thing multiple times, and there's never like a ticket taker or something to scan.
I was expecting to
And there-
scan it.
And
It
there's
was on
just
my
people
phone.
hopping on and hopping off, and it's like there's no way you would know. Is it just like a good faith system? It's your choice if you want to buy the ticket or not.
But I know Michael knows what weed smells like. Because we
like,
got on the
"What?"
light rail.
He's
He said, "Is marijuana legal here?"
kids these days, man.
Because it was strong. Malcolm said, "There's a family of skunks living on the bus."
It was some potent skunks too. That had to be like the weed man. 'Cause I know which one it was. I was like, dang, that dude's lit up.
And we were sitting real close to him. I smelled it, but when Michael said, "Is weed legal here?" I was like, "Ugh." But there was no Taylor Swift.
No Tay-Tay. Was you upset?
It just adds an extra element of excitement. It's
One
not
of the
like we
la-
were going to hang out.
There was a lady on our row that kept telling Michael that she's up there in that box, the Geico box, right up
Yeah.
there. So I was like, no, she's not. They'd have done showed her on a big screen or whatever.
Yeah.
So I took my phone and zoomed in and took a picture, and then you could zoom in further. That ain't who she would have been hanging out with. Was in that box.
You tried walleye for the first time. What's walleye?
It's a fish. It's a fish. For us, we don't have them I don't know if any water's close to us. They
Is it
claim
cold
there's some
water?
at Pickwick. Yeah, I think it's a colder water fish, but it's a real clean, real good eating fish.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. Now, is it better than our catfish? Heck no.
I've always been told it's the northern version of catfish. It's just as
Oh.
good, just as clean. It's got
I don't
the
know
flavors.
if it's just as good.
I feel like trying walleye in a sports bar was we got to give it another chance.
Yeah, I need some fresh walleye and to cook it. Somebody to cook it that claims to be a really good walleye cooker.
I want you to do a video. What's better?
Walleye or catfish? That would be. I need to get somebody to come down and do that with me.
Yes. They cook their recipe.
They cook they come down and we do them side by side comparison and see which one's better.
We need the walleye.
Mississippi pond raised, like get some Pride of the Pond or some Simmons or, one of these brands that we've been cooking all our lives. And then put that up against them. Yeah.
You need the walleye king of Minnesota
to
come down. Face
cook
off against the catfish king of Mississippi.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if it's better than crappie. It was good.
Crappie's good.
It was good. You know what it reminded me? I probably shouldn't say this. It's like souped up fish sticks because there were these about, I don't know, finger sized pieces or something. The way they had them cut them up and they were breaded. It wasn't like a cornmeal breading. It was like some kind of.
You didn't see a
fish
fillet.
and chips like Betty. Yeah, I want to see what the fish looks like.
Yeah, you didn't see a fillet. I tried a juicy. Well, we both kind of tried a Juicy Lucy.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah,
we went to the brunch spot before the game. We went to that you found was awesome, and the atmosphere of the place was cool. What was
they had a band playing? Like
what was it called?
Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen.
I don't think it has any affiliation with
the TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was funny, like, because we were talking about Gordon Ramsay's Hell's Kitchen the other day. So when I saw y'all were at Hell's Kitchen, I was like, oh, they found one.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like that. But it was, I don't know. It had a bar, but it wasn't like a sports bar or anything, I wouldn't say.
It's like an independently owned restaurant.
Yeah.
It had a lot of charm, a lot of character, had their own vibe.
It was kind of down, almost like going in a dungeon.
Yeah.
Kind of the way they had it decorated up.
Yeah.
It's like you're going in the gates of hell. But their food they had a Bloody Mary there that was the bomb. It was they had some kind of special
infused vodka
that they did there. There's a bunch of different of those. They had some like Icelandic vodkas, like brands I'd never heard of. It wasn't just like we got Tito's.
Yeah.
But it was good. They served, what was unique about when I get a Bloody Mary in Minnesota? They serve it with like a meat stick.
Every single
almost
time.
Like a Slim Jim like stick. It's better than a Slim Jim.
Yeah, it's a really good meat stick, but it's always, and I've ordered it at we've ordered it at multiple places, multiple years.
Even at the game.
Yeah.
When you bought a Bloody Mary.
It's the same exact stick.
Where was it? We got one out in the Vikings Lodge.
Yeah.
And it was like a big beer lodge out in the park, like before you go in the game. It's like a hangout area. And they were serving them in there with the meat stick in it. So you got a pickle and a meat stick. And it didn't have celery. Like we normally serve it with celery.
Well, they did have a 35-foot Bloody Mary bar.
Yeah, that's cool and all, but I want give me extra vodka and just get it mixed right.
Yeah,
instead of putting there's people hanging like onion rings and chicken wings.
Some people with muffins.
Yeah, just all this stuff that you go through this bar and you build your own. They give you like your vodka in a glass and you stand in line with it. And the line was 60 strong. So it was taking some people an hour. I watched them. It was like we were in there and out before some people got through the whole Bloody Mary line. I looked at it.
That was game day. It was a game day morning. They had a 2-hour wait. Luckily we had made reservations. But
yeah, that's a trick. If you're going up there to go to that place, make a reservation. Now the place we went to Saturday night where we watched football, watched a baseball game there. What was it called? Mike's or
somebody's viewing room, but
yeah, Matt's or Mike's or something like that. It was pretty cool. It was jam packed. They have 40-ounce Miller Lights. You drink it, and it was like this big cup with these double handles on it. And time you drink 3 or 4 of those, you're like, hold on, I didn't drink a 12-pack. I mean, for real.
How many did you have?
I think I had 4. Then I switched to the regular size. I said,
so it's 160 ounces of beer. How many ounces is
10
in a
tall
gallon?
boys. We were there a while. Had some Fireball.
Let's move on. Before we went,
hey, I was drinking like a Viking. You can't go to Minnesota and not drink like a Viking. And we were 2 blocks from our hotel.
Okay. And before we went to Minnesota, we had actually gone to Dallas for a business trip. Tyler went with us.
Took Tyler and Brian and Jacob.
And we didn't get to do a lot in Dallas because it was pretty much we flew in, went to our conference, kind of came home. But we did get to go one night to the ranch at
Las Colinas.
Las
the
Colinas.
Las Colinas.
How did you find that restaurant?
It was a restaurant close to us that took reservations.
Oh, okay. Well, I know, man. I'm gonna tell you what. If you want to go to just the epitome of a Texas steakhouse, go to the ranch.
It was awesome.
It was really good. They had a dude playing music there. I knew I sang every song with him. I'm sure he hated me.
You were having a good old time.
They had what got my attention about this place. I looked on their menu. They had it called the Cowboy Feast, and it was a Wagyu tomahawk, a fillet, a strip,
Garlic stuffed fillet,
and a
Angus
fillet and a strip,
charbroiled
and what else? And was it ribeye? No, that was the tomahawk.
So it
4
was
steaks, right?
a 33-ounce Wagyu tomahawk ribeye.
Which was unbelievable.
It was really good. 8-ounce roasted garlic stuffed fillet, a 12-ounce Angus charbroiled strip, pork belly burn-ins, some grilled shrimp, and then
Everything was topped with grilled shrimp.
and then she was like, "You want to add the barbecue?" And I was shaking my head no, and you went, "Yep." So we got ribs too.
It was ribs too. But
and we come with 4 sides. But
the cool thing about we split all this with the table. This one
Yeah.
I ordered it all for myself. Although I could probably put a dent in it because it was that good.
and it came everything was already sliced when it hit the table, which I appreciated.
It was on a giant cutting board. They roll it out to you, and then they even let me play with the big pepper grinder to season it up.
No, you said, "I want that pepper grinder." I don't know. What did he say, Tyler?
I asked politely, Tyler.
He said, "Hey, can we get some pics with that pepper grinder real quick?" It was really cool though.
But that dish was fantastic.
It was.
But it wasn't that bad. I think it was like $240
Yeah.
for all that, which that sounds like a heavy price tag. You go to a steakhouse, just the tomahawk steak's probably gonna be $100.
Yeah.
And
And
so
we
we
split
split
it
this
with the
4
table,
ways.
yeah.
I mean, you're $60 ahead, and we didn't finish it.
No.
All 4 of us did not finish that. I mean, we left steak. That's how much food it was.
What was your favorite part?
Man, that's tough because the Wagyu tomahawk, it was all cooked perfect.
Yes, it was. It was
Uh,
seasoned
and
good.
the meat, and it was the tomahawk melted in your mouth. But I did not expect the pork belly. They called it burn ends. I did not expect it to be as good as it was.
Yeah.
But it was not a burn end. They had
It
taken
was like hunks.
They had taken, you got 2 pieces of this. They had taken a piece of pork belly and cut it in about, I would say it was a 6x6 cube, like one giant hunk slab. And they cooked it just like you would a pork belly burn in. So it was all sauced on the outside and, tender as it could be. So, but when you cut it, you had to slice it up yourself and the knife would just fall through it.
It was so tender.
And then you had pieces of that, like strips. So you were eating pork belly burn ends, and it was big enough to cut into a strip. And that was it. I was blown away by how good that was. That was probably that's going to be close to that Wagyu.
Really impressed because normally when you order pork belly in a restaurant, it's never as good.
Yeah.
Because it's either undercooked or overcooked or hard. It's just never as good.
This one, they had rendered it perfectly.
Yes.
It was soft. I mean, you could have took it and shredded it and made some really good pulled pork with that. It was that much of it.
And the fat on it was
Even the ribs were pretty good. The add-on, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, they were. I wouldn't call them Texas style ribs. That was more of a Memphis style.
It really
because it was just a
was.
dry rib. It was a spare rib, and you got, I don't know, probably half a rack or something like that. It was enough for everybody to get a bone.
What was your favorite, Tyler?
Oh, pork belly.
Yeah.
Pork belly followed up by the mac and cheese because the mac and cheese
It was
I just
good.
didn't expect it to be that great. Like I was like, oh, it's steakhouse mac and cheese. No, it was like there was something in it amping up the flavor just a little bit to give it a little bit of a kick on an aftertaste that made it all the better. Like it was so good.
I agree. All the sides were good.
The pecan pie was jam up. She talked us into that too. And she's like, "We give you the pecan pie." So I was like, "Okay, thank you, lady. Nice lady."
The pecan pie it was huge.
Oh yeah, it was.
It was like a quarter of a pie.
Yeah, it's enough for 2 or 3. Everything in Texas is big. And I'm telling you, if y'all get a chance to go there, make a reservation and go. Now, I don't know if you didn't have a reservation. There's no telling how long the wait would have been. You could have sat at the bar, I guess, but
the shrimp, they were okay. They were probably the weak link.
Yeah, you didn't need that. I don't even know why they put that. That was like a garnish.
It was like the parsley. You just throw it off.
But there's probably a pound of shrimp on it.
It's a lot. And they made really, really good margaritas. Like authentic margaritas.
Yes, yeah. Well, we sat at the bar and had one of those.
And the Texas queso was really good too.
Yeah, so we got a chef's favorite appetizer, which was queso, onion rings, elk tacos, and fried green tomatoes. Those were the best onion rings I've probably ever had.
They gave Huey's a run for their money, and I like a Huey's onion ring.
Forgot about those elk tacos too. Those were up there.
Yeah.
My favorites.
It was a lot of food.
We went somewhere else and they had bison on the menu. Was that Bar Louie where they had all the bison, or
maybe
was it?
There was a lot of bison on the menu, that Hell's Kitchen menu.
Is that where it was in Minnesota? Okay.
Well, it is chili season. Would you call it chili season?
It was. Now today it's not.
Yeah.
Like it warmed back up to like 80 degrees.
Yeah.
That's kind of my cutoff for chili. It's got to be below 80. If it gets 78, oh yeah, crank up the pot.
What's it going to be this weekend?
That's going to be like below 70.
Okay.
So
Sunday's like 63, I think.
yeah.
Oh, perfect.
It's chilly. Saturday and Sunday is chilly day. Like
So,
there's going to be nothing better than watching football Sunday, eating a bowl of chili, maybe even a chili dog.
so someone had asked that when we did that chili contest, a couple years back, and I won.
You like to bring that up.
It's the only one I've ever won. You've won plenty, but I think you were like second place with your pulled pork chili. And I guess you had mentioned that you had done the pulled pork chili, but you never shared a recipe with it. Do you remember what you did?
I make regular chili. I just use pulled pork.
You just use pulled pork. So you just.
I even put some. It even had some like sausage in it too.
Okay, so like ground sausage.
Yeah. The only thing was I didn't put the pork in till the end because anytime you try to cook it, it's already cooked to where it's done enough. It's pulled pork. You don't want to just keep cooking in a stew. It'll go to string onion. It'll just So you make your chili like a normal pot of chili. I mean, you don't put the ground beef in there. You can put a little, but I'd use like breakfast sausage is what I used, or you could just use ground pork seasoned with chili seasoning too. But that's kind of the base of it. So you make the basic chili recipe. It's nothing hard.
It's like
tomatoes.
onions
I use like
tomatoes.
Rotel, tomatoes. That's a bit seasoned, the bona fide chili seasoning, and sometimes I pour a little beer in it. Splash of beer.
I like a little Worcestershire.
A little Worcestershire.
Yeah.
Just get it flavored right, and then right at the end, after you've done simmered it, that's when I add the pulled pork, just kind of fold it in, and then just let it stay on low, and it don't have to. It's pretty much ready to eat, and it's really better the next day. But I'm just substituting it, just adding pulled pork to it.
I do the same thing with chicken when I do that white chicken chili. But you don't. If you add that chicken before the chili's done, it's going to get stringy.
Yep.
Brunswick stew does the same thing.
It does.
If you put pulled pork in Brunswick stew and just let it cook.
What I do, I like to do my meats separate and then add them back cooked. I mean, if it's a bigger chunk of meat that needs to cook down, it's one thing.
Like a roast?
Yeah. Like if you started with cubes of chuck roast or something like that, it needs time in the chili to soften up. But if you're putting in a meat that's already been fully cooked, you want to add it towards the end. Just like you make a chicken and dumplings. You don't leave that chicken in there the whole time. Make your pot of dumplings and add your chicken back to it. And
then it never gets like
stringy,
boiling again. It just hangs out on low and just kind of has a light simmer just to keep everything warm.
You get better bites of the meat that way. You taste the meat. It's done. You're not cooking all the flavor out of it.
Have you seen that over the top chili that they've been cooking?
I have. I've been seeing a lot of people do that.
What's your thoughts on that?
Well, because whenever I cook chili, I always brown the meat and then get the grease off of it. So
that's what
the whole time you're doing the over the top, it's like you want the grease in the chili. Yeah. So I don't know if it was. I mean, to me, it's like I don't usually want my chili with that layer of fat over the top of it, and I don't know if you know.
Are you enhancing the flavor? Are you making it greasy?
I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious. Yeah. I would think like most time you see people they make almost like a meatloaf or a big giant meat patty.
Mm-hmm.
Or, they might use a chuck roast and they set it right over it and let all those drippings go into their Dutch oven underneath it. And then they build their chili off that. But I mean,
I've
me,
seen
it's just
sometimes
getting
go
it,
ahead and have the chili, like, the tomatoes elements in
in
the pot.
there and just letting the drippings get down in it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would be worried it'd be greasy, but I need to try it. I've never tried a bowl of that. So it's something that I've seen several people do it. I think Matt and Heath recently did one on one of his channels.
I've seen a bunch of people do it.
I've seen a bunch of people do it.
I like to cook my meat, but I like to add my vegetables in there so that the vegetables soak up some of that flavor and the grease maybe a little bit, but then I drain it.
Yeah. Then you put it in a strainer.
Then I drain the grease off.
Drain all the grease off, and then add it back to the pot and start building the chili.
Yeah. That's the way I feel like I'm getting the flavor that the meat gives you without getting the grease.
Unless, I mean, I could see, like, you do some Cajun cooking and you start with the roux, so you use the grease and use the flour, the thickening agent. But if you're not adding something that's going to mix with that grease that you're putting in there, I think it would stay greasy.
Yeah.
And I think once you let it cool, there's going to be that cake that comes to the top that you'd have to scoop off, I've done that like when I make beef stew or something like that. You got to get all that fat off of it.
Or if you don't, to me, it gives you a filmy.
Waxy, filmy.
Yeah. I mean, I want to try it before I knock it.
Yeah. I'm not opposed to trying it.
What's your thoughts on white chicken chili?
I absolutely love it.
Is it chili?
It's really good. There's no bad one, right?
Is it chili?
Yeah, it's chili. Why is it not?
I don't know.
No, it's
Tyler
not. Like,
had this whole thing.
Yeah, we had a huge debate in the office one day because we have a guy that works here named Austin who does all of our wholesale ordering and stuff, and he seems to think that chili is described by just normal chili, like whatever you think of like when you think of picture perfect chili, like that is chili.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Red.
Red beans, a little bit of beef, like all that. That's chili. And he says it's really thick because my wife has a chili recipe that's pretty thin. So he calls it vegetable soup, but I'm like, no, I don't think so. So then we went all on a side tangent about white chicken chili and all that.
I will agree with kind of both of y'all. Chili can be anything, but it can't be soup. I will agree with Austin on that. For chili to be chili, it has to have a viscosity to it that's not like thin, watery soup.
Yes.
That's not chili.
Like if you put your spoon in there, it should like very slowly
fall
fall over.
It should have a thickness to it.
Yeah.
A thickness to it. Now whether it's tomato based or it has beans in it or it has, it's a white chicken chili, that's all up for debate for me. I can see that that's still considered chili. But I was going to say, when you got your computer out, see what the definition of chili is.
All right.
I think his argument was that it had to go on a hot dog. Like you had to be able to put it on a hot dog. And I don't necessarily agree with that because I think you make kind of a certain
limits it.
Yeah, you make kind of a certain kind of chili to go on a hot dog.
That's right.
Like it's very beefy. I don't even know if you would really need beans on that. I mean, you could put them in there, but
most people don't. Like I think you've got these all like chili aficionados that say it shouldn't have beans.
Yeah.
Like it's meat and it's cooked down and it's thick and
it's not the Texas way or whatever.
Yeah. That is the Texas bowl of red. No beans.
No beans.
No beans. And I don't even know if they use ground meat or if it is ground meat, it's a chili ground, but a lot of times they dice it up and they use meat like that and start cooking it and cook it down. And I don't even know. I was going to be interested to see what the definition said because I don't even know if it has to have tomatoes because it's chili. It's probably made with chilies. You cook down chilies and make it.
So the official chili competition defines chili as, which this is still up for debate, any kind of meat or combination of meats and or vegetables cooked with beans, chili peppers, various spices, and other ingredients.
So it says with beans in the definition.
It requires beans, I guess.
And it doesn't say tomatoes.
It doesn't say tomatoes. So white chicken chili would work.
Because you have beans in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only argument I've ever heard of is like some people say that after a certain thickness, like any soup becomes a chowder. Because like I've had red chowders and stuff before. That's not necessarily heavy
I feel
cream.
like you could make an argument that my white chicken chili is a chowder.
What makes it a chili is it has chilies in it.
Yeah.
You don't put typically in a chowder. I've never had a chili chowder. Like you don't. How many chowders have you seen?
Delicious.
Like a poblano chili chowder.
Ooh, that's
all of a sudden you got white chili then.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
you know?
right.
And you don't put potatoes in chili. Most of the time, the chowders have potatoes in it.
Yeah.
And some even have corn. You could get away with some corn and some chili.
Then you're getting into Brunswick stew a little bit. I
No,
don't
that's
know.
barbecue soup. But yeah, so I think, like, for one, it has to contain chilies to be a chili. I would say has to have meat, but you could make a vegetarian chili.
Oh, yeah.
It would be,
I make my white chicken chili vegetarian
yeah, for your niece.
for my niece. I like I stop before I add the chicken and separate it.
My wife does a quinoa chili. Actually,
Oh.
pretty good.
So
oh, really?
Yeah,
That
like
does not interest me as
I
much.
gotta
as-
call you out on that. Is it vegetarian if you use chicken broth? Do you put chicken broth in it?
No, when I cook it, especially for
vegetable broth?
her, I use
Okay.
vegetable broth.
Okay.
I use I don't use the cream of chicken.
Yeah.
I use cream of mushroom or something like that. Yeah, I do all the right things.
To keep
And
it
y'all
vegetarian.
don't notice that I didn't use chicken
really
broth.
didn't. I'm
Yeah,
going to be offended next time, though. I want specifically chicken broth and meat products in my
Cream of mushroom in there.
Yeah. Better be cream of chicken in my chicken chili. Dadgummit, try to.
you have a recipe for smoked chili dogs, and it is the best chili dog ever.
Oh, but see,
It's
to
a whole
me,
different
that's
type of
almost not
chili.
even chili. I mean, because I consider that chili sauce.
It kind
If
of
it goes on a dog, like I don't want a bowl of my same chili, like that's got the beans and
I mean, we do it all the
I might
time.
do it. But if I'm making
Yeah.
specific chili dogs, it's a chili sauce, and it's really almost like manwich. You know,
It is.
it's thick like sloppy Joe because it's not runny. Because you picking up a hot dog, you can't just have a good old runny chili. Now, if you're gonna just eat it in the bowl and spoon it out,
Yeah.
that's fine. But to sit on a dog, it needs to have a thickness to it to stay on the dog.
Yeah, yours is like everything's really finely minced, like your onions and your garlics and things like that. You don't have everything's kind of the same consistency. It's almost like a gravy,
Yeah,
like an
Kinda.
Italian
It's
gravy.
not runny though.
like
not,
it's tomato sauce.
It's more of a meat sauce
Yeah,
that stays together. It's got all those chili flavors to it. So you're using all that element of the chili to flavor this ground beef, and that's what you build your sauce out of.
would it be a bolognese
Yeah.
style?
I was
Yeah,
thinking.
the bolognese
Kind of like
is the
kind of
meats.
like a
Yeah.
southwestern bolognese.
So- but it's really good. And then you smoke your hot dogs. That's
Yep.
important. You do all beef.
Got to smoke the dogs. I like those big 1/4 pound dogs too. All beef 1/4 pound. What is it Nathan's or Hebrew National? Is
They
where you
both
can get
have
the all
some.
beef one.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can get from like a deli or someone.
And then you put it all together and top it with the cheese and put it on a cast iron skillet and cook it again.
Stick it in there, let it get all melty, and then top
And
it with some onions and jalapenos and a little mustard.
Bun gets just a little like toasty.
It's so good.
It is so good.
Chili dog.
Sounds like you're making them this weekend.
We'd already
We're gonna
talked
make a
about-
pot of chili,
Yeah.
so I'm not gonna make my chili sauce. I only do that if I'm specifically making chili dogs. Is make the sauce,
Yeah.
and I usually don't even make it in a pot. I usually make it on the stovetop in a skillet because that's the way
just
you
like manwich.
just like you would manwich. Yeah, it's better than manwich though.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
What do you think's in that can of manwich? It's kind of like a cross between watery ketchup and barbecue sauce to me.
I don't know. I don't need no helper.
Manwich. When's the last time have you used manwich lately? Michael don't eat sloppy joes.
Yeah.
Which I grew up eating sloppy
Me
joes.
too.
It was a staple at our house.
It was like one of my favorites.
Maybe it's like poor folk food or something. He just refuses.
Every now and then I'll
Your
be
dad
like,
cooks barbecue. Is he going to eat this slop?
it's so good though.
It is good.
I do think like if you go to school and you eat the sloppy joes at school, they're nowhere as good.
I don't even think they have them anymore.
They used to have them at my school and they were terrible. We also do deer chili a lot.
Deer meat
Which
makes
is-
great chili. You
Yeah.
can't even, I don't even think you know it's deer meat.
Yeah. It gives it a good flavor.
I need to
And,
come up with a unique one. Like, let's make some raccoon chili or squirrel chili or something. See if we
Someone
could-
was asking on the community, where do I get squirrels?
that's easy. Go outside. First find you some oak trees and just go outside and wait. And if you're in the city, you probably need a pellet gun or something. But if you're out in the country, 22 or a shotgun. You can get you some squirrels easy.
I told him go buy some chicken and just tell everybody it's a squirrel.
Like some dark meat chicken.
Yeah.
Or pay that dude $99 on that you looked up last week.
How do you eat your chili? You got a bowl of chili, and you got all the toppings.
I don't need that. You give me, I sometimes
go
I'll put a
chili?
little cheese on it, maybe, and if I want to get fancy, I'll add some sour cream or some jalapenos. But
Cilantro.
my number
maybe?
one way is a bowl of chili and saltine crackers. That's all. That's really all that you need. Now, I really don't like to eat chili without crackers. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Some people eat it with like cornbread, but we never did that at my house.
I'll tell you what, last time my wife made chili, I did the mayonnaise on the bottom, poured it over the top, and it was like so good. It just, it adds like a
Was it
layer of
put-
creaminess like sour cream does, you
talking about
know?
on the cracker.
But it also gives you a little
Or
tanginess.
where do you put the,
Oh,
where'd you
no.
put the mayonnaise?
Oh no, you put a scoop of mayonnaise like on the bottom of your bowl and then you pour it up over the top. You kind of mix it up anyways and stuff, and it gives it, it's an oil, obviously. It's a layer, it's just
Yeah.
another layer of flavors, but it makes it creamy, sort of like sour cream would, but with more of a mayonnaise zing to it. It's really good. Really, really good.
That ain't my style. Big old scoop of mayonnaise in the bowl and
Yeah,
you
how
put
big
chili
is
on
the
top of it.
scoop?
Like,
I'm thinking ice cream scoop.
no.
It's like a tablespoon.
Yeah, like you just get a spoon you have like in
Yeah.
the drawer or whatever.
Yeah.
Put a
So
spoon
get
in
you some blue plate. Put it in your chili bowl first. Big old dollop. And then put your chili on it. And do you top that chili too, Tyler? Or you
Oh,
Yeah.
just,
Cheese,
it. You do
It works.
onions.
cheese, cilantro, onions, and jalapenos.
Yeah.
yeah, you would be all over that.
Yeah. I would totally do that.
I usually do sour cream anyway, so I just
Yeah.
figured this one I would try. But
Try the mayonnaise.
Change your life. Blue
It-
plate change your life.
I've-
Again.
you know, I have seen some people take a jar of blue plate mayonnaise with the butter knife, spread it on the saltine cracker, and then put a spoon of chili on that and eat it that way.
It's so
Yeah.
good.
I've seen some people do that
You-
in person. It's hard to watch.
Why?
It just doesn't seem right. Spreading mayonnaise on crackers and eating chili with it.
Well, cinnamon rolls with chili always seemed weird to me too.
I grew up with that. But that was always like the lady auxiliary thing. It wasn't like you had them at home. But if the church had a chili dinner, the ladies would always make like homemade yeast roll cinnamon rolls, and you got a bowl of chili and you got a cinnamon roll. And man, it goes. That one actually goes together.
Maybe we should try that this weekend. I don't want to make some homemade yeast.
You just want to do the
cinnamon
cast
rolls.
iron
Yeah,
Pillsbury,
yeah.
bust them up. Yeah, we'll try it. I'll let you try it. You're probably.
Yeah.
I already know what you're going to say. You want to eat your chili, then you want to eat your cinnamon roll
Yeah.
for dessert. You don't want to have them together, but you got to have it together to get that combo.
But I don't think Michael's ever had it. So.
Oh, I guarantee you hadn't.
I could see the layer of like cinnamon, like adding like a cool flavor to it.
It does. Cinnamon
And-
goes with those flavors.
And I've seen people add just cinnamon to a chili recipe. That's
Yeah.
not that uncommon.
Some people add chocolate syrup to it
Yeah.
to give it like another depth of richness.
You could get heavy handed with the chocolate.
Well, so
syrup.
I always put a little bit of sugar in my chili.
Heck yeah.
It needs it to balance out the acidity.
You don't add enough to make it sweet.
Yeah, it's not sweet. It's just it tones down
tomatoes
some of the
need it.
acidity. Yeah.
Because you have a recipe where you call for sugar, and
Yeah.
it's only like 2 tablespoons in a whole pot of
Yeah.
whole pot of chili. But people are like, "Don't ever add sugar to your chili." All right,
All right.
you don't have to, but it
Yeah.
does just give it balance.
I mean, I think it's good. But I do that in my spaghetti sauce too.
I do too.
If I'm making spaghetti sauce, like just good old spaghetti, it's getting a pinch of, it's getting some sugar in it to balance it out.
Yeah, because the tomatoes are very acidic.
I don't do it to gumbo, but I don't put tomatoes in gumbo.
Yeah, that's true.
I never thought of that, but I don't. Some people to put tomatoes in their gumbo.
It's really gumbo season too.
Yeah, that's coming next. I gotta get sick of chili first.
Gumbo.
So it's soups and stews, seasonings and chowders. I've never done a smoked chowder, like done something like that in the
You
pit.
still haven't done a Brunswick
I thought I did a Brunswick a long time ago. I've got Russell was going to come from Georgia
and do
and do a Brunswick with me. I just got to get it lined up where he can get over here.
a
He's coming like next week, but we're going to Georgia. Next week we're going to Royal Oak. We're going to do a podcast that week. We'll
Yeah,
probably try
yeah,
to pre-record one.
We will. And you've also never done a chicken and dumplings recipe. I've got one you can
That's
borrow.
kind of your thing.
But you could smoke the
You
chicken.
know, when I met you, how I made chicken and dumplings? Like my mom taught me the shortcut way, and you hate it. But it was using,
it's broth and tortilla shells.
yeah. I mean, you could use a boiled chicken or roasted chicken, whatever, but it's tortilla shells that you cut in strips or dumpling shape, and they poof up when you add them to it. Are they as good as the dumplings you make? As homemade dumplings? No. But is it fast? Yeah, it's pretty fast, and they're good.
But the broth is just broth. There's no creamy element to it. There's no butteriness. It's just all broth.
You can add a can of cream of chicken or cream of mushroom or something to it if you want to.
I do.
So you think it's more watery like Tyler's wife's chili? That's what you put me.
Oh, I'm going to be in so much trouble.
Does your wife listen to you?
Probably this one.
Don't put any clips up.
We also tried the new breakfast sauce from the W sauce.
That was actually good.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people talking about it. I've never seen like a breakfast sauce.
They had a bottle of it at Kroger. That's where I bought it.
Yeah.
I don't know what makes it breakfast sauced. Is it just because
Good on eggs? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, to me, it makes more sense on a burrito sauce.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of, something you'd put over, a burrito or something like that.
Is it like a picante or?
No, it's not.
Kind of thin.
Yeah, and it's
got a good kick
It has a
to it.
Worcestershire element to it.
Yeah.
You can taste it, but it's it's got a little kick to it too. It's
kind of like if a Worcestershire and hot sauce
it
had
would
a
go
baby.
It would go good on an omelet or like a breakfast casserole. I
Or
guess maybe
breakfast
that's why.
burrito.
Maybe that's why they do it, because it goes good with eggs.
I could see it being
But
really good
I
with
could
eggs.
just call it egg sauce. Yeah, I don't know what meat you would eat it on, but with eggs it goes. I guess that's where they get it from. Would you eat it with
Yeah.
eggs?
I thought it was really good.
Probably good on potatoes.
Yep, I bet it would. There you go. Hash browns.
Hash browns are breakfast. Maybe brunch sauce. How about that? That way you
Brunch
can cover a
sauce.
little more.
You
Need to try
put
it on a
your
chicken
foot in-
sandwich and see how it tastes.
I bet it would be good on a chicken sandwich. You have a plan to cook a brisket this weekend.
So the way this come about, and I'm going to cook an overnight brisket probably on a pellet grill. But our friend, is it Alonzo?
Yep.
Gulf Coast Smoke, did this brisket sandwich, and it looked unbelievable. And so I'm going to duplicate it. We had a thing going in some of our ambassadors, and they sent this idea, and his got like everybody consensus kind of picked his as like the best looking sandwich there was. And so the thing was, if it's good and I liked it, I was going to cook it. And I saw it, and I was like, oh man, now I got to cook a brisket.
He put like smoked sausage on
Oh,
it.
it looks so good. I'm going to do a video with it.
Yeah.
Of
But you
making
had to
that
have the
sandwich, but
brisket.
not cooking the brisket. I'm already gonna have my brisket sliced, so I got to cook a brisket.
How are you? What's the plan there?
Oh,
Overnight?
I'm just gonna go to Walmart or Kroger. I might go see Frankie down here at the butcher shop, because he had at Primo's, because he usually has those 1855 briskets. So I'm gonna grab one of those and keep it simple, just a Texas style brisket, because he's Texas Gulf Coast. He's like, when you think of Gulf Coast
I
smoke, what do you
immediately
think of?
Biloxi.
Or I think there are like Gulf Shores, Orange
Yeah.
Beach, but I have to think about it. He's from Texas,
It's a
so
whole
I think he's
different
like,
Gulf
is he
Coast.
like Houston area or
Yeah, a little bit.
somewhere Corpus Christi or somewhere down there?
southeast. Yeah, Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's where he's from.
the better coast?
The better Gulf Coast. I don't know. Hey, the white sand beaches in Alabama are pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Mississippi's
There's some
not
good
bad.
There's
We
some good
just-
seafood down there too.
Yeah, but when I think of the Gulf Coast, I think of going to
Yeah.
Gulf Shores, Orange Beach.
And so
But
you're
anyway, I'm
gonna-
doing this brisket sandwich, and so I'm going to cook the brisket, and then next week I'll be filming that recipe.
Okay, so let's say you're cooking this overnight brisket.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
gonna
probably gonna put
season
it
it
on
up.
Saturday afternoon, watch some ball games, and let it roll all night. Get up Sunday and wrap it up in some butcher paper and hold it for a while and let it cool down, and then I don't know if I'm gonna slice it. I haven't made my mind up
Yeah,
yet.
that's my question. How do you get it from Sunday to Wednesday?
I think I'm gonna keep it whole, and then
Oh,
slice it
so we
up.
can't have any on Sunday.
No. This ain't. Yeah, this is all for the sandwich.
Oh,
Do you want to eat some brisket on Sunday? We're gonna be eating chili on Sunday.
I thought the chili was Saturday.
I could cook it over the top and do a 24-hour chili with a 24-hour brisket. How do you think that would be? It'd probably be extra greasy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But that's what I plan on doing.
So you're going to keep it whole.
Yeah. I'm just going
Are you
to.
going to vacuum seal it or wrap it? What?
Since I'm going to be using it like Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm probably not going to vacuum seal it. I'll probably just wrap it up in plastic wrap, stick it in a Ziploc or a big Ziploc or a meat bag, stick it in the refrigerator, and then when I take it out, I can slice it. And then on his sandwich, he cooked it all in the video, like live, cooked the whole brisket, then sliced it. So I'm going to have to reheat it some kind of way. So I'll bring it back up. If I vacuum seal it, I could throw it in the sous vide and bring it up. That might be the best option there.
Or we could cut it in half.
Yeah, I can do that. Because it's not like I need 10 pounds of brisket for this sandwich. I just needed probably a couple pounds, enough to make the sandwich. So you might get to try some. That's not a bad idea there.
See? I'm glad we had this talk.
Talked it out right here on the podcast.
Real quick, you said something about the 1855. Is that a brand?
Yeah. It's I used to cook them and contest a lot, but it was I always thought it was like a Cisco brand, but it's one of the bigger meat companies has bought it. It's like just a higher end, like you know how certified Angus beef is a brand of beef. 1855 is a brand, and I'm not sure which meat company owns it now. It might be Swift or somebody like that. I really don't know. I don't think it's IBP.
It's a little bit better than your regular commodity.
Yeah, I'm sure they just have different. They just have standards. Yeah. It's kind of like a high end choice. I don't think it's quite prime, but they eat like a prime. It's just your standard spec when you get their briskets, or what I've found is they're all pretty even. So you can get that 13 to 15 pound brisket. It's always going to have a nice fat cap on it. Usually it doesn't have bad butcher cuts in it. They're pretty uniform from flat all the way to point. So there's not a whole lot of trimming on them. I mean, it's just a good brand of brisket if you can find them.
So are there any brands of brisket that you won't cook, like you try to stay away from?
I can't think of any that I stay away from. A lot of times you get them at a supermarket, I look for ones that have plenty to choose from. If I go in the supermarket look for a brisket and all they got's one brisket, I ain't buying it.
A lot of times it's like
a lot of times, at ours too, because that they don't have briskets at a lot of them. But so I look for one. I try to find them that are uniform. I want one that's got a decent flat on it and that the point looks good. If I can see through the cryovac, I always look through it, try to see if it's discolored or anything, or looks like it might have some age. I don't mind if it's a little floppy, but I don't want the seal to be compromised. What looks like it's got a lot of air in it, and it's a lot of blood, or no, it's not really blood. It's just kind of meat juice that's leached out of it. But I don't want all that in my package. I want it to be kind of tight, but I want it to be kind of loose. That means it's probably got some age. It's kind of an art to picking out the right brisket. Yeah, you got to put your hands on them. I can't just send you to get me a brisket.
No,
that's the one thing that I would. I got to go see it myself if I'm on, because a lot of times these things are $65-$70 even at a Kroger.
I mean, I think I could do better than your average bear.
Oh yeah,
but no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't feel comfortable picking out your brisket.
You'd say no. You probably need to go get that.
I mean, I know tight cryovac, even
a little bit of flop.
And flop, yeah.
Well, you'd be all right then. I'd trust you.
Even thickness as much as possible from end to end, correct?
So that's going to be, I'm going to send you home with some homework. You get to go get the brisket I'm going to cook this weekend. How about that? Or you can just go see Frankie.
Yeah, I think we'll just go see Frankie.
Pick me out a brisket.
I know if you pick up the big end, you want the little end to go.
Yeah, kind of like the way I do it, a lot of times I'll just set it on the side of the basket, the shopping cart. And see how it folds over it, because it kind of gives it just enough little angle to let it droop. If it sticks straight out like a board, I probably don't want that one. Or I need to stick it in my refrigerator for a few days. But that's the bad thing. Like a lot of times you go get one out of a meat case, you can't see the case, the box that those briskets came in. If you could see the box, you could see they always print the pack date on them. And then from there, I like to be 30 days from that pack date. Now, you have no idea when you're just getting them out of a case. But a lot of times I feel like if I go to Sam's or Costco,
I've seen you ask them.
I'll ask the butcher, can you bring out some more brisket? Even if they've got a few out there, I might take them and move them over to another part. So, hey, these briskets are they're not going to put them back, but I just want to get them to put a fresh box out. And that way, when he brings a box out, hey, let me see that box. And I'll look at it and go, oh yeah, these are going to be, and then I'll go through that And I've done that a lot.
Yeah.
They don't. I mean, most of the time they don't mind, especially if you're buying one. You know.
Yeah. Back when you were buying a lot of briskets, we were doing a lot of contests a long
Yeah.
time ago. You kind of developed a relationship with the guy at Sam's.
Don't take it to like the automotive department and leave it. If you're going to move one, put it in the cooler somewhere.
Just move it to the
Just take it down to the
salmon.
pork. Put it down to the pork side. And then go get it and bring it back. Don't make them work too hard for it. But bringing it out to where you can see the box, that's good info to know when you're buying a brisket is when it was packed.
Well, how do you feel about your Sam's briskets, your Costco briskets?
They're good. You know, Sam sells the whole brisket and the flat sometimes, and they also have choice and prime. So I've got some really good briskets at Sam's, but I've got some really good flats at Costco because that's usually all typically Costco has is flats. But you can go there and buy a 13-pound flat that's even all the way across. And so putting your hands on it and feeling how it feels and looking at it and seeing if there's a big fat thing down the middle of it or you could see in the pack. So I like, if I'm just cooking a flat, I don't mind going to Costco and buying one. Now,
Have you ever seen just a point at any of them?
not usually. Not
Not
where
around
we
here,
are. I wish. I would buy
No.
points all day long because I mean, I like the point better myself anyway.
Yeah.
And for doing, burn ends or any kind of
Tacos.
anything I'm cooking down and want to shred the brisket, I want point meat. I mean, the flat's not where it's at in brisket. It's still gonna be the driest part. I mean, it's good. It's okay, but man, I want mine from that mid fatty line
Me too.
where I might get a little double stack fat, flat, some fat, and then some point, and then on back. That's the best part of a brisket. You can just give all that front part away, but that stuff that's up
it's
underneath
good.
it's where it's good. Well, the point's more marbled. You get more flavor in it because it's more marbled, and the flat's super lean, and it's just a different texture. If it's going to be dry, it's going to be in that flat. It ain't going to be. If you got dry point, you done messed up bad.
I love going through that like Texas style brisket line, like when you go to the restaurants and you walk through the line and they're cutting it right there.
Yeah, right.
You
Fine.
know.
You can tell you which one you want.
Yeah. What do you want? Oh, give me that fatty one.
Yeah.
Get off in there.
I want some from the fatty end. That's what I say.
Don't mess around with that up there.
Yeah. You can give that to the vegetarians or
The vegetarians.
not the vegetarians. I don't know what they'd be.
Well, Mal, that's really all I have for you today.
Hey, well, Tyler, what do we got going on in the community, man? Or tell folks about it.
Now's a great time to start getting in because we're probably going to be doing some giveaways here pretty soon, guys. That's the Let's Get to Cooking community over on Facebook.com/groups/H2Q community. If you want to check out all of Malcolm's favorite recipes, head on over to HowToBBQRight.com.
Yeah, let's see those chili dog recipes or chili recipes. It's the time of year for folks to share those. So,
And if you haven't tried the white chicken chili, it is really, really good.
Shell's award-winning white chicken chili.
Yeah. I mean, it is cheesy and delicious.
It's basically cheese soup
The best cheese soup you've ever had.
with the little white beans in it and a little chicken, right?
Hey, it's got good protein.
It's a high protein. I want to see if we can make a high protein version of that. I bet
Yeah,
we can.
I bet we can.
Cut out some of the
The heavy cream.
junk, yeah, and then substitute it back with some stuff that's high protein.
Is there something you could substitute for heavy cream?
What if you did the cottage cheese blended
Like
up?
blended up the cottage
Yeah.
cheese?
You just got to be careful with it being so hot. Like the cottage cheese will curdle on you. So like
Really?
when I make like the sauces I do for pasta with the cottage cheese, it has to be like lukewarm. Like it can't be like really, really hot.
Okay, I hadn't tried that. I've made
Once
like
it incorporates, will it curdle still if you get it hot again, or?
No, usually like after I add it to the pasta and the pasta's pretty hot, it's usually fine. It's just like if you're gonna cook it, I wouldn't add it while you're cooking it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
you could add
Yeah.
that at the end though,
Yeah.
You
because
could.
you don't have to simmer I mean, it just needs to be low heat when you add your cream element.
Mm-hmm.
And you just blend it up and pour it.
Yeah.
in.
Yeah,
5
you
minutes.
just let it.
We're gonna try it.
Heck yeah.
I've been making the buffalo chicken with it. Like it's pretty much like making buffalo chicken dip, except I don't make it as runny because I would use it for wraps and stuff. And it's just that blended cottage cheese with like buffalo wing sauce, and then you mix it with some smoked chicken that I pull. Mix all that up with a little fat-free shredded cheddar, and I make a giant bowl of it, and that's lunch for the week.
It's so good too.
Yeah. And it doesn't, like, I heat it up. Sometimes I'll put it in a wrap and either do it in a skillet or put it in an air fryer like a burrito. And it doesn't separate that I can tell.
But it's already incorporated into something,
Yeah.
I guess.
We're going to have to play with that.
Well,
See.
I'm just thinking like eggs. If you dropped an egg into, something hot, it's going to scramble.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But if you're, you have to incorporate the egg.
We'll see. We'll see if it stays smooth or if it breaks or gets lumpy.
That'd be a really good recipe if we could figure this one out.
Protein chili.
Protein chili. High protein, creamy high protein chili.
There you go.
Because really, regular chili, it's not that bad.
If you use lean meat.
Oh, who wants to do
Can't use like 70-30.
70-30.
Or sausage. Sausage
like,
got too much fat in it. But
I like the sausage in my chili.
I do too.
Gives it a good flavor.
Well, Shell, where can they find us?
If you'd like to connect with Malcolm, it's HowToBBQRight on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and of course YouTube. If you'd like to connect with me, it's Miss Southern Shell on Instagram.
All right, folks. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us today, and we will be back next week to talk more barbecue and cooking and all the delicious stuff we got going on.
We'll be.
Come see us in Cleveland, or we're going to be over in Atlanta too next week. So.
Yeah, next week we're going to talk about why do we need to refrigerate barbecue sauces.
You're going to get in. You're going to get in deep, dive deep.
Yeah, and you're going to talk about your brisket.
How it turned out. And we're going to talk about our chili that we cook again.
Until we get tired.
That's right.
And then we're going to talk
tired.
gumbo.
Well, we'll see y'all next time. We gone.